Greetings from EnvisionB2B in Chicago for the 2022 event here, talking about B2B and marketplaces. I'm Tom McFadyen from McFadyen Digital, joined by some great colleagues and leaders in the market.
Grant Lacy, head of product at Chem Direct.
I'm Jack Moberger. I run our B2B practice at Algolia.
Great. Well, let's talk a little bit about our businesses. So Chem Direct, a very successful marketplace. Can you tell us more about that, Grant?
Yeah, so Chem Direct's a B2B marketplace. We were started in late 2019. Our founder, Tyler Ellison, was running a chemical manufacturer and was just frustrated by the lack of transparency between him as a manufacturer and who his end buyers were, and he felt that there was an alternative path to market. In addition to the distribution channel, we never say we're a replacement for distributors, we're an added path to market. And what we've really pioneered is the point, click, and buy nature of chemical purchasing. So people with high purchase intent, whether that's companies like Tyson Foods, Bear Paints at the industrial scale, all the way down to upstart analytical testing labs looking for just a couple milligrams of the product. So make it easy to point, click, and buy chemicals of all different varieties.
Great. Hey, Jack, can you tell us about Algolia?
Yeah, Algolia is the microservice search and discovery platform of choice for B2B marketplaces. So we spend a lot of our time talking about the differences between building yourself, buy something out of the box, and creating these experiences that really leverage the data that you're surfacing from your customers. So we look to split the difference between having to build it all yourself, but we want to give you that level of configurability that you would get if you were to do so.
Great. And McFadyen Digital is a system integrator and advisory firm focused on marketplaces. We had the honor of working with Chem Direct and partnering with Algolia on this great solution here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a great marketplace for chemical industry, and you have a lot of transparency and data and how you serve the chemical industry. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, so it's like we said, we're purchase intent, so there's not a request for quote button on our site. So search is really how our users begin the journey. So for us, we went from what we call our V1 marketplace to what we now call V2, which McFadyen helped us build. And previously, we were using Elasticsearch. We had roughly 200,000 products, and it really complicated the buying experience. I mean, with that many products, you need to provide the user with the ability to drill down, find the right product, add it to cart, and proceed. Also find similar products, recommended products. So when we're rebuilding the site, we really look to who's that search provider that can incorporate a taxonomy that spans a $5 trillion industry, and right now 400,000 products, and that's where Algolia came in for us. So for us, taking search, categorizing all those products, indexing all those products on a daily basis has really led for our ability to provide users with kind of what we want to be is the landing page for the chemical industry. Come in, search for the product, find what you need, and check out, just like you would on an Amazon-like experience in the consumer world.
Great. And Jack, can you add a little bit more about how Algolia can help with those requirements?
Yeah, I think a lot of the industry is looking at moving from these legacy tools, Elastic, Solar, open source solutions. The B2B industry in particular is one where there's a lot of customization required. So folks default to big engineering teams hosting their own solutions, massive indexing pipelines, huge amounts of query configuration. We want to enable that same level of customization, but really the building blocks have already been built. So we don't need to be relying on technologies that we've seen, unstructured text querying languages from the 90s. It makes no sense. All of our content today is structured, and folks like Chem Direct are unifying this product data into a place where it really becomes even more discoverable because of the investment that these teams are making. So we want to speed up that process, and we want to make it quick to be able to iterate towards the best solution for the market.
Yeah, I want to drill down a little bit on what you said, because configurability was a big thing when we were looking at like our search provider and different aspects of our marketing, our payments providers as well. And for me, our whole design philosophy at Chem Direct is let's build products with B2B functionality and a B2C experience. And you need that level of configurability to create those kinds of experiences, and Algolia provided that to us, in addition to all, like you said, all the technical level servicing that you do, but from a design perspective and a configurability perspective, you guys absolutely had that for us, which made it a no-brainer.
I mean, we hear it all the time, folks looking at trying to create that Amazon-like experience, that B2C-led enabled experience for the customer. I think what gets missed in those conversations a lot is that, B2B isn't one of those places where you can just take the wisdom of the crowd and plug in some AI and everything's just going to work perfectly. So, this B2C language is important. These experiences need to be clean and fast and intuitive and relevant and personalized. But what that means for the B2B industry often, has a lot underneath it that you maybe wouldn't expect. And I think folks like Direct do that very, very well.
And chemicals is a huge industry. You said $5 trillion, huge possible SKU counts. Can you tell us about how quickly you've been scaling the marketplace model?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, we're lucky to have a great supplier community that continues to grow. When we launched the V2 version, we were at roughly 250,000 SKUs. We're up to 400,000 right now, with a sizable backlog as well. We're hoping to hit 1 million SKUs by the end of the year. And again, that was when we made that decision on Algolia, it was thinking to that million plus mark. Because I think it's if you look at the rough kind of purchasable chemicals, like the total addressable market of purchasable chemicals, it's into the tens of millions. And we had to think long term of what's our search tool, what's our tech stack that gets us to a, like we said, consumer-like experience in terms of performance, design, that allows us to have a million plus product catalog that's fully shoppable for our users.
And it's that marketplace business model that lets you scale that quickly.
Totally.
To that. If you had to merchandise and source and price 1 million products,
absolutely,
your team size would be huge.
Absolutely.
Price prohibitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great benefit from the marketplace business model.
100%.
What other trends in the marketplace or the search or the B2B distribution industry do you guys see that may be forward-looking?
Yeah, for us, it's really the fact that, chemicals is a very, for lack of a better term, data poor industry. There's not a lot of digitization within product information, let alone sales data. It's very much a kind of historically phone and email-based sales process. So one of the big value props to our supplier community is the fact that we're transparent with our data. We don't believe in housing data and not sharing it with our supplier community. So tools like Algolia, Power BI, those have allowed us to really enhance our suppliers' business outside of Chem Direct. So like we said, we're a channel. We're not going to be the channel necessarily right now for our supplier community. And we're actually informing their manufacturing process or inventory, where they're locating or where they're placing forward positioning inventory. And that's really been a huge value prop for us. And search data alone too, people want to know what's trending, especially with the supply chain crisis now. People are thinking about, what products do I need to sell in the next 3 months? What's the demand going to be in 3 months? What are we seeing on the marketplace in terms of search data, in terms of purchase data? And we're all about sharing that information with our supplier community.
Great.
Yeah, I would drill into what Grant said, right? So there's obviously the B2B space looking at the B2C market and trying to simplify things, trying to make them as streamlined as that expectation. But I think you said data poor, and I think that is true of a lot of industries in B2B. So it's not just chemicals; it's just about every category that you look at. Suppliers are looking for more information. Internal partners are looking for more information. And for us, this all sort of brings itself into the category of data extensibility. Microservices and best-in-class solutions work really well for building quickly on the front end. But the other thing that is happening is you're getting access to this first-party data, which is generated by your team for the benefit of your partners. So whether that's suppliers understanding inventory burn down, whether it's understanding their trending products or NPI potential for terms that they should be covering that they are not, or getting data out into the field with sales folks, with folks on the marketing team, understanding how your site's being used to surface the best leads for salespeople, in the same way that the software industry went, I think, just a couple of years ago, where they started to introduce these models. You get some channel conflict considerations coming from sales folks who are saying, hey, is this replacing my job? It's not. What it's becoming is an incredible source of data for you and a prospecting engine that allows you to identify the right folks who are going to be the right customers for you to work with, and then to streamline that process for your smaller customers and customers who are primarily reordering, so that your sales team can focus on the large strategic deals.
That's exactly what we say to suppliers. Yeah. It's empowering them. Take the customers that you've built up over time that reorder constantly, and you don't need to dedicate a sales rep to that. They can use e-commerce, point, click, and buy to do that. Let your sales team go focus on key accounts, growing key accounts, and then letting the data inform how to do that even more strategically. So 100% agree.
And we both talked about data and how important that is, and with the death of the third-party cookie from GDPR and other legislation, it's more important to get that data yourself, and Marketplace is one of the best tools for doing that. You mentioned the dashboard. You're using the McFadyen Digital Marketplace Performance Management (MPM) tool. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's working for you?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, it's internally, I mean, BI is always, democratizing data within a team, whether it's customer service, head of product, CEO, C-suite type people. Data should be democratized. So the dashboard has been kind of the window into that world for us, which has been great. And when you look at the complexity of that dashboard like that, you think of publicly traded companies and not necessarily Series A and B startups having that level of insight. So it's been great. It's directed our business in a lot of ways. And going back to the transparency component, it's all about building out not only internal-facing dashboards, but being able to, through API connectivity, relay that to our supplier portal or our supplier dashboards and provide them with real-time data and also monthly or weekly reports that can help inform their business. So we like to have sit-downs with our suppliers once a month, let them know, hey, here's what we're seeing from a search perspective that Algolia is informing. Here's some insights that we're inferring from the marketplace, from our BI dashboard, and that's really, been a huge value to them. It's whether we think a lot about time to value, so it's, we're ideally getting you that first sale as soon as possible, showing the liquidity, but even if before that, we're giving you data insights, not just from your supplier or your product offering, but the overall Chem Direct marketplace that users are visiting and exploring on.
You guys are truly living the value of ecosystem in a marketplace. It's enabling suppliers, enabling customers, and providing transparency across the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for joining us here at EnvisionB2B in Chicago for the 2022 event. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.